Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. The moment you guys have all been waiting for, May Sale 2025, is finally here, and in this video I will be going over the sales and also giving a brief buyer's guide based on my experience with these vehicles, which, with the exception of helicopters, I have experience with pretty much all of them. And also, if you guys want, definitely consider checking out my reviews on these videos because they will give you a much more in-depth look at them individually than what I'll be able to do in this buyer's guide. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and just start off here with the first sales. And this vehicle sale runs from May 7th through May 14th, both at 11 GMT. And of course, first, they are bringing back a few rare vehicles for bundle sales, which is pretty interesting. You have the Wings of Victory bundle that's 30% off, and the Tracks of Victory bundle, it's also 30% off. And in the Wings of Victory bundle, basically you're just getting a bunch of vehicles that were piloted by somewhat famous pilots during World War II, which is why you have things like Dogushin's LA-7 pack or Plagueis' Spitfire Mark 9C pack, things like that. Now, that being said, the only somewhat unique ones here are the P47 M1RE, and bear in mind, there's actually two premium P47 M1REs, so it's kind of unique, kind of not, but there are none in the regular Air Tech tree, so it's kind of cool. I mean, it's probably the best P47 in-game insofar as stats are concerned, but it also sees an equivalent increase in BR. Otherwise, you also have the P51 D10 pack, which, if I'm not mistaken, you have the P51 D5 and 30 in the regular Air Tech tree, but not the D10, so it's kind of unique, but not really at the same time. And then for the Tracks of Victory bundle, you have very much the same situation, where things like the M10 Achilles, the IS-2 Revenge of the Hero pack, things like that, the Black Cat, and also the M5A1 are all already in game exactly as they are, just these are premium variants with like different decals, things like that. Whereas the T3485E is slightly unique in that it carries slat armor around the turret, which does help marginally when it comes to facing heat shells, but that's it. And then, of course, the only truly unique vehicle here, the A43 Black Print pack, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Now, for the Wings of Victory bundle, it will be $104, and the Tracks of Victory bundle, it's $112. Now, if you want, you can purchase them all together for the Weapons of Victory bundle, which is 50% off, so it is a bigger discount, and it includes all of the vehicles I mentioned. And it costs $154 if I haven't already mentioned that. Now, that being said, these are all packs. You're not just getting the vehicles, but unfortunately, these packs do not include Golden Eagles. They only have premium time, but there are a bunch of 15 days of premium time, so you are getting a whole lot of premium time plus the packs with it, so it is still going to give you a lot of premium account, probably upwards of about a half a year or so. So it is quite impressive, but bear in mind these are all middle of the road vehicles. They're all mid-tier vehicles, better said, so it's not like you're going to be able to grind out the entirety of a tech tree with any one of these vehicles, but they will still be able to get you pretty far through it. And considering the overall purchase price of them, I mean, realistically speaking, even if you were to get this 30% off, each of these vehicles is less than $20, and that again includes the premium time. And a better deal, arguably, with the 50% off Weapons of Victory bundle. These are all individually even less expensive. Now, that being said, if you already own one of these vehicles, let's say like the Black Prince, maybe you purchased that during the Black Friday sale, the packs that include that vehicle will be a little bit less expensive because, of course, you're not going to have to buy that vehicle twice. So if you own like a whole bunch of these, you might be able to get this for like a lot less than $154. $154, $104, and $112, those are the absolute maximum value or the maximum cost of these packs if you own none of these vehicles. So if you already own one or two or a lot of them, then it should be quite a bit less expensive. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and get down to what I feel like a lot of people are going to be looking for. It's the vehicle packs, the typical vehicle packs that you do see on sale here. And all these vehicle packs are for sale 50% off, which is pretty cool. And there will be a few that will be removed or retired, at least as they're calling it, from all platforms after this sale ends. So after the 14th, these will all be removed from sale, at least temporarily, because a lot of the time they bring them back for Golden Eagles or for special sales. And these include the AH64D Netherlands pack, the Kafir Canard pack, the MI35M pack, Saab J35XS pack, the F4J UK Phantom 2 pack, and the Challenger 2 OES pack. So you're getting 2 English vehicles at high tier that are being removed, which I am actually really surprised by, but they are doing that, especially the Challenger 2 OES. They don't really have anything to replace that as of yet, but that gives me an idea that they will soon. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and just get into the buyer's guide here. To start off the buyer's guide, we have the Wings, Weapons, and Tracks of Victory bundle, and I'll just say this to you guys right now. These bundles really are a tough sell, even with the tremendous premium time value that you get out of them. The reason being is because these are all pretty much mid-tier vehicles, which means that you will not be able to grind through probably about half of your given tech tree with them. So for example, if you have like a tier 3 vehicle, then you're not going to be able to grind out like rank 7 with them because it receives like a 95% RP penalty. I guess technically speaking you could, but it's just a very tough sell in that way. So I would say that probably if you're going to look at purchasing any of these, I would do so if you've already purchased at least a few of these vehicles. That way the cost can go down for it, because $154 or even $104 is a tough sell for me, but you can make the argument for any of these because they're all digital fake vehicles. Now, that being said, the MiG-23ML. This is actually a very good vehicle when it comes to aircraft, like anti-air, because it has good anti-air radar guided missiles. It has pretty good short-range IR guided missiles, but it doesn't really have anything insofar as anti-ground is concerned. It kind of lacks in that department. So I would say if you're looking for something air-to-air, definitely a good choice. Otherwise, meh in my opinion. Next, we have the Al-Khalid 1, which I personally love. It's well armored for the most part. It's got a very good cannon and great mobility. Definitely recommend. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, it has Gen 3 thermals, which is just fantastic. M1A1 HD clickbait. This is another one. Believe it or not, in game, the hull armor right now is just not all that good, but the turret armor is pretty good, and it's got a pretty damn good cannon with an excellent reload and excellent mobility. So if you're looking for something like that, you really can't go wrong with the clickbait. Next, we have the F5C, which is, in my opinion, in a rough spot now. A lot of people really like this vehicle, but at 10.7 BR, it only has AIM 9Es, which is just, why? It's just so, it's in a rough spot, you know? Its performance is pretty decent, but not all that great, and it lacks ballistic computers, and it doesn't have any sort of smart ordnance either. So you're looking at, if you're going to be using this as an anti-air platform, it's probably going to be about a little bit slower, if not a good amount slower than pretty much any other fighter that you're going to be fighting. It's got less advanced missiles than most other fighters, and then of course when you go for anti-ground, it's just very lacking in that regard too. It doesn't really have anything incredibly special. No self-guiding munitions. It's just a rough sell for 10.7 BR. I'd say probably to avoid it, but do with it as you will. Take it on a test drive, see what you feel. But for right now, I'd say meh to it. Next, we have the T-29. This is a pretty good standout tank for rank 4. It's only $20, so you really can't go wrong. It's got pretty much a lot going for it. It's got a powerful cannon, pretty good armor, but not incredible mobility. If you're looking for something rank 4, you really can't go wrong with it. And then beyond the T-29, we have the Type 90B Fuji. This is an incredibly powerful vehicle, excellent for offense, excellent for aggressive players. It's very fast, has a great reload, and a pretty good cannon as well, but it doesn't really have all that great of armor. So if you do not really care about armor so much, you're more of one of those people that cares about a really nice reload and great mobility, this is the vehicle for you. It is a great vehicle to look at purchasing, definitely very powerful for the offensive-minded player. Next, we have the MiG-21 BIS Lazar M. This is basically just a MiG-21 BIS. If you are a fan of the MiG-21 in general, this is, in my opinion, probably the best of them. It has excellent missiles, at least short-range missiles, relative to its BR with the R60Ms. It's very fast, great maneuverability. Of course, it bleeds a lot of speed, but it doesn't have all that great of anti-ground capability, so you want to bear that in mind. But when it comes to just close-in dogfighting, you really can't get much better than the MiG-21 BIS Lazar M. So if you are looking for a close-in dogfighter that's also a premium, definitely worth a purchase. I love this thing. Next, we have the Su-22 M4 WTD-61, and this vehicle is pretty good for a whole bunch of things. I mean, it's not really great air-to-air. It can get the job done. Much better when it comes to striking. So for CAS, it's actually pretty good in that role. Not absolutely amazing, but pretty good. I would say this is somewhat worth the purchase. I mean, $35, still a little bit expensive for any of these vehicles, realistically speaking. But when it comes to an overall vehicle, not all too bad. If you're looking for something a bit more versatile, compared to the MiG-21 BIS Lazar M, you might want to consider this. Personally, I still prefer the MiG-21 BIS Lazar M, but you know what? The WTD-61 Su-22 M4 is still pretty good. Next up, we have the Leopard 2A4 pack, and this is basically the Leopard 2 Panzer Battalion 123, which itself is a premium Leopard 2A4. This vehicle is very, very good. One of the more well-balanced vehicles at its BR. I would say that it's got very good armament, excellent mobility, and pretty decent armor. Not absolutely amazing, but still slightly better than average armor, especially when it comes to a turret cheek. I would say this thing is worth it, especially considering that the 2A4M pack is not on sale. This is definitely a worthy purchase for this tech tree. It's one of the better Rank 7 premium tanks that you can get. Next, we have another Rank 7 premium tank, the T-72 AV Terms T, which is, in my opinion, just a fantastic vehicle, extremely hard-hitting, great armor, but it doesn't really have phenomenal speed. It's actually kind of slow, relatively speaking, not terrible by any means, but not by any means all that quick either. It's got really nice thermals, I think Gen 2 or Gen 3 if I'm not mistaken, just an overall hard hitter, great frontliner, great sniper. Personally, I even like this a little bit more than the Leopard 2A4 pack, just because it's just a really mean vehicle. I personally love it, even still after it's been years since it was released. Personally love it. So yes, I would consider purchasing it. Next up, we have the King Tiger pack. This is the Tiger 2 SLA-16, which is slightly different than the Tiger 2H in-game, in that, if I'm not mistaken, it has 50 horsepower more, and it also reaches its max horsepower at a slightly lower BR than the standard Tiger 2H, which means that this is actually a slightly quicker Tiger 2H. But otherwise, it's pretty much the same as the same armament. It has the same armor overall, although it does have slightly more track armor on the turret, but that doesn't really do all too much considering it's the side of the turret and that's a weak spot anyways, but still a very good vehicle overall. If you're a fan of the King Tiger, definitely consider purchasing this. It's just a very good vehicle, I would say. I personally like it more than the T29 pack, I'll just say that, but if you're going to be buying any vehicle for the German ground tech tree, I'd probably be looking at the Leopard 2A4 pack anyways. It's only $12.50 more, and you can grind out a lot more of the tech tree with it. Next, we have the F4EJ Phantom 2 ADTW pack. It's meh. I mean, it's a Phantom at tier 7. It's not incredible. It's just okay in a lot of things. It's probably better for close air support than it is for air battles at this point, and even then, it's kind of mid for close air support. Just an okay vehicle. I mean, if you desperately need something, then it's kind of considered. I would consider maybe looking at it, but that's about it. Otherwise, we have the Su-25K pack. This is probably my favorite aircraft in all of War Thunder to play. It is just phenomenal. It can do pretty much anything that you want. Close air support is obviously what it's geared for, but I have like a 2.5 or 3-to-1 kill-death ratio with this thing in air battles. It is just phenomenal. You can equip it with extra cannons, with extra missiles, and just go to town on the enemy. It is just so good. 100% worth it in my opinion. Fantastic. Next we have the T-55 AM-1. This is arguably better than the T-72 AV Terms T. However, I think I saw a recent BR increase if I'm not mistaken, but it's got low BR composite armor, which is great, especially considering how many people use HEAT-FS at and around this BR. It's got APF SDS, it's got a laser rangefinder, it's got a lot going for it, and also an ATGM launcher. It's just got a lot going for it at such a low BR. I would say this thing is arguably better than the Terms T, but it is a rank lower, so the Terms T is still going to be a better value. And besides, I'd say they're more or less equivalent relative to BR, although arguably the T-55 AM-1 is just marginally better. Next, we have the Tornado IDS WTD-61 pack. Not at all worth it. If you're going to be buying one German premium strike aircraft, I'd say any day of the week, the Su-22 M4 WTD-61 over the IDS. This thing is just not that good. It has only dumb bombs, if I'm not mistaken, and only like 1,000-pound bombs. It's just not a great strike aircraft, and it's not a good air-to-air aircraft either. It's just totally a letdown. Do not even consider purchasing it, in my opinion. Next, we have the K9 Vidar pack. This thing is just fantastic. It's a rank 5, but it is only, if you want to consider only $25, very, very good. I think it's got like what, Gen 2, Gen 3 thermals, very powerful HE shell. It's got a laser rangefinder and it is very mobile. And it also has pretty trolley armor. Personally, I would consider purchasing this 100%. Next, the F-28 Tiger Shark. This thing is probably as close as you're going to get to an American Premium MiG. It is, or MiG-21 rather. It is just extremely maneuverable. It's kind of like a slightly more maneuverable F-16, just very slightly. Or it's kind of like a Bizarro F-16 in how it plays, right? It's very similar, but not so much in some ways. I personally love it. One of my favorite aircraft to fly, believe it or not, in War Thunder. Right up there with the MiG-21 BIS, Lazar M, or really any MiG-21 BIS in-game. I personally like it a lot. And it also has a pretty damn decent CAS loadout. Personally, $3,750 is a bit expensive for it. If you're looking to maybe buy the FA-18C early pack, wait until that goes on sale rather than this, because I think that the Hornet pack is a little bit better than the F-28 Tiger Shark. However, the F-28 Tiger Shark is still a really, really fun vehicle to play. It's really fast, great maneuverability, pretty decent for air-to-air, not absolutely amazing, but pretty damn good, and also pretty decent for close air support. Next, we have the CV90105 XC8. This thing is an offensive tanker's dream. Extremely fast, extremely good reload, and a pretty damn good armament as well. And it also has, I think, Gen 3 thermals, is a very, very good overall vehicle. Not much armor on it, but still very, very powerful. I would consider this probably over the K9 Vidar even, just because it's 2 ranks higher, which means that you can grind out through more of the ground tech tree with it. However, both of them are still perfectly good. I would still, in terms of relative to BR sort of quality, I would put them pretty much right on par with each other. Possibly even the K9 Vidar over this, but just a little bit. Next, we have the IS-6 pack. Very good vehicle, but it did see a BR increase somewhat recently, if I'm not mistaken. And when I say recently, it could have been like the last year or two. I've been playing this game for like 12 years, so in the last year is recent to me. And this is basically, it's got the 122mm cannon that you're familiar with on the IS-2, except if I'm not mistaken, it can carry a slightly more powerful round insofar as armor pen is concerned, and it does have a slightly better reload. Plus, its armor is surprisingly good and it has pretty good mobility. So overall, it's kind of like the IS-2 that you wish that you had, but better. It's a very powerful vehicle, but it is getting a little long in the tooth at this BR. Personally, I would recommend the King Tiger pack over this, but it is what it is. Plus, this is $22.50, whereas something like the King Tiger pack is only $20, as well as the T29 pack, but you also have to look at it like this. This is a rank 5, so bear that in mind. I would probably even get the T55 AM1 pack over this, or just save up a little more, get yourself the T72 AV Terms pack over the IS-6, but if you're looking for a heavy tank at, I think 7.7 BR, this is still plenty good. Now, I can't really speak too much on the Apache pack. I don't really play helicopter, so my apologies for that, but if I'm not mistaken, it's pretty decent, but again, I cannot really speak on it. Next, the Centaura RGO, another premium tank that is for offensive-minded players. I love the Centaura RGO. Very powerful cannon. It's got better survivability than you think, but that's really through way of it being a big tank and not a lot of spalling goes through it, if that makes any sense, because it just doesn't really have thick armor at all, so rounds just kind of pass right through it, and it's extremely fast. Personally, I love it. I think that this is one of the more fun vehicles at and around its BR. A bit better than the Ariat that just came on sale, the premium Ariat, but definitely a very, very good vehicle for offensive-minded players. I would consider this to be about as good as the Type 90B Fuji pack for offensive-minded players, arguably even more so. Object 120, extremely powerful sniper, but that's pretty much all this thing can do. It's got a really good armor penning APF SDS for its BR. I would actually probably consider this over the IS-6, that's just me, but I'm also more of an offensive-minded player. It's also very fast. It has very little armor, however, but I personally like it a hell of a lot because it's just ridiculous. Next, we have the Challenger 2 OES. This thing is slow. I mean, even if it were like 2 or 3 BR, like full BR is lower than it is, it would still be considered slow. It's just a big, slow vehicle. It doesn't really see all that much of an increase in armor relative to what you'd think such a slow vehicle should have. It's okay, but it's just not all that good. I probably would not recommend it. F4J UK, this is pretty much in the same boat as the ADTW, the Japanese F4 that's on sale. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's okay. It's just decent at a lot of things. If you really need an aircraft for the Great Britain Air Tech Tree, consider it, but personally, I would probably pass on it. Next, the AH-64D Netherlands pack. Again, can't really speak on helicopters. And then finally, we have a few other packs here before we get into the starter packs. Kafir Canard. Again, this thing's kind of mid. It's okay. I would say just wait until the Nets pack comes on sale. The Nets pack is a bit better than this. It's the F-16 Nets, but it's just not... The Kafir Canard is fast. It's got dumb weapons, if I'm not mistaken. It might have smart weapons, correct me if I'm wrong. And it also has decent enough air-to-air missiles, but nothing all too crazy. So, it's okay. Probably wouldn't buy it. I would just wait for the Nets pack to go on sale. Saab J35XS. I'm actually really shocked that this is being removed from sale. Personally, I probably wouldn't go for it because the J35 just bleeds speed like a mother, so to speak. I say the MiG-21 BIS is a bit better than the Saab J35XS. That's just me. But, I mean, it's okay for air-to-air. Pretty much completely absent for air-to-ground. I would not buy it if you're looking for any sort of air-to-ground presence. This thing is not going to do it. It is pretty much completely lacking in that regard. And then, of course, we have the Mi-35M. Again, can't really speak on it. I do not really play helicopters. And then finally, the starter packs. Honestly, you really can't go wrong with any of these. I'd probably say the best of them is going to be the French starter pack for the B1 Terror. That is a trolley vehicle, and then of course each other one is pretty much very similar. I'd say the USSR starter pack is probably going to be the second best, but that's really it. I mean, everything else is pretty much, these are all vehicles that you can pretty much get in the regular round tech tree, with the exception of, again, the B1 Terror. That is a premium vehicle that you will be getting with it, and it's just a very trolley tank, much better than the B1 in the regular French tech tree. And yeah, I mean, you really can't go wrong with a starter pack. I would actually recommend, if you aren't going to buy anything else, consider buying a starter pack, because these come with premium account, Silver Lions, and 2 low BR but still very fun premium vehicles each. But that being said, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. This was a bit of a longer buyer's guide than I expected, but again, I'm just trying to be as thorough as possible while also being somewhat concise. Either way, thanks for watching. I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.